Welcome back, everybody. We got a figure to unbox. It's the Superman Action Comics action figure. This might be the best action figure for Superman that McFarlane Toys has ever released, dude. Just look at the blues, man. Look at the reds, trunks on the outside. Nice face sculpt on him. That's the problem with a lot of these Superman figures, is the face sculpt can be really whack, dude. But I think they nailed it with this one. Got the slight blue shading in his hair. Got the wired cape as well. Really just clean, kind of basic look for Superman, but that's kind of how I like it, man. So let's unbox this guy. I've had him before, actually, but the last one I had a wonky leg, and I gave it away through a TikTok giveaway, dude. So I don't have this Superman on the shelf anymore, so I had to rebuy it when I saw it at Walmart. And yeah, let's get it open, dude. Do some posing, articulation, and then might throw it on the shelf. So yeah, let's see what we got. All right, so fresh out the box, we got the Superman, dude. Excellent stuff in hand. It's just awesome, dude. The reds really pop. I like how it's kind of metallic on the front. Nice Superman symbol. I mean, that face sculpt I think is excellent, dude. They really just kind of nailed a neutral kind of look for Superman. Of course, it's got the wired cape like I was saying. Nice wired cape. I kind of like how it's thicker and kind of softer to kind of mess with in pose. There's a wired cape, maybe like the Cassandra can I have up there. It's like their kind of first try at the wired cape, and it's not so good. Not as easier to kind of pose in my opinion. But yeah, I like this wired cape, nice, flat, wide. And yeah, I think that the Superman look, they just killed it, dude. So you got the nice red boots, of course, tights on the outside. Pretty simple all the way throughout. There's no texturing or anything, nice and smooth. And yeah, let's get into under the overhead. So yeah, I really do enjoy the Superman. Let's talk about the accessories it comes with before we get into the articulation and throwing it back on the shelf. Comes with the data card, dude. So nice Superman, Clark Kent to Superman data file here. Nice basic data file. His name is Kal-El, dude. His name is Clark Kent. Okay. Pause if you wanted to read that, man. But that's the data file. Comes with only 2 swaps of hands. But I gotta appreciate the types of hands that they chose. Just neutral hands, man. So you can use these for neutral poses, but also kind of like loose flight poses, right? The last week I unboxed the David Cornsweet Superman movie action figure, the deluxe one, theatrical, and it has like 2 straight of flight hands, I guess. Like you won't use those for anything other than flight. These I feel like you could use for flight, but then also for other kind of neutral more poses, right? So that's cool that he included these as the hand options. No head sculpts, no face sculpts, right? But like I was saying, I think that they, not necessary. Nice neutral face. And then this one comes with a flight stand, dude. So the last couple McFarlane figures I've unboxed, if they're a flying character, no flight stand, dude. That's just lazy in my opinion, dude. That's just lazy. You come with a dinky stand for the fly characters. I'm glad this one comes with a flight stand. Even if it's a shitty McFarlane flight stand, I prefer it over no flight stand, you know what I mean? So that's pretty cool. And yeah, let's get into the articulation before we throw this guy on the shelf. So first and foremost, his head. You get the 360. Not that much up, but you know, more down than anything. But the up, that might be okay if the bend, yeah, so the bend is there. So not the best, all right? Not the best, I will be honest. You're gonna want a little bit more of a head. Let's talk about the arms. 360, you get a little bit of a bicep swivel here, 360. You don't get the double crunched, double jointed elbows, but I think it's because the mold for the arm, yeah, it wouldn't really call for the double jointed, but that is a little bit unfortunate. No double jointed. Still get a good range of motion going across here though, in my opinion. And you get the 360 with the little joint here on the wrist, going, you know, kind of like this kind of movement here, but also the 360. So that's the arms. Not the best, you know, not anything to write home about. Yeah, not really like a bend here. It's mostly just that 360 there. So yeah, also I guess I should mention, I like that the cape is the cape seam works pretty well for me in this one. Sometimes you get a Superman figure and the cape seam looks a little off. Looking at the side to side, pretty good side to side. You know, maybe you want a little bit more, but that's pretty good side to side. You get that full 360 torso. We already did the crunch. Let's do the legs. The legs, oh no, dude. Tell me this doesn't have the same issue as my last one. Okay, it's not broken, but legs pop off super easily on this guy. That's what happened to my last one. Okay, so you get that crotch joint, the classic McFarlane crotch joint. Because of the tights, you can't get that leg all the way up as you'd want, but you do get the double jointed knees. I like this kind of boot mold that they've got. You got the 360 ankle joint with the boot there, and then of course the toe articulation. So in terms of his leg popped off again. This better not be broken, dude. I'm gonna lose my mind if this one's also broken. But that's sort of what we got, man. This has been the Superman action figure. Maybe we can throw him on the shelf, but in terms of just general thoughts on this figure, I still think that it is probably the definitive, the Superman figure I would recommend to most people, right? Like I've got this one here just on my other shelf, just for an example, right? This one is great. It's really cool. His hands are too big. And then the smiling face, you're not gonna need that smiling face for every single pose, right? So to include just the smiling face, that was a miss for me, right? I would much rather prefer this one where it's just a neutral kind of face. You can do more things with them. And yeah, just overall, I prefer the darker blue. The symbol on this one is a tad better. And that one didn't have a wired cape, right? So that's just an example. This one has everything that I would be looking for in a Superman figure. Great face sculpt. It's got that wired cape, nice costume, nothing too crazy with the costume. And yeah, dude, I think this is probably the most definitive Superman McFarlane action figure for me, man. But that's what we got, Superman. All right, so we got the Superman on the shelf, just showing you guys the DC action figure section here. We got the Superman all set up, dude. So we got the Trinity there. I got to do some more, you know, better poses here, kind of repose everything, but this is kind of what we got rocking right now. Finally got a Superman next to the Trinity, dude. So that's awesome. If you enjoyed this action figure review, leave me a like, man. It helped me out a lot, especially for a small channel trying to do more action figure stuff. And any support that I get on these videos, it pushes me to do more action figure stuff. So if you enjoy my action figure content, definitely help me out and leave me a like and sub if you haven't yet. But that's what we got, Superman from McFarlane Toys. Let me know what you guys thought. Thank you guys for watching, and read more comics.